well this is going to work right away, but we're just going to keep, don't let the reins get long, just keep asking him to flex in. So I want you to see his inside eyeball. And then once you get to, yeah, and then every time he comes down like that, I want you to give your rein to him. But your inside rein, you sort of push your hand forward up his neck. So we're treating him like he's a baby horse right now. So we're going to kind of run through baby horse. You flex him in, he gives, you push that hand forward. So give it back to him. Yeah, and so you make it go completely loose for a moment. And we're wandering around with no outside rein connection. That's kind of a problem, but that's what I'm having you do. So ask him to flex to the inside, and then give it back to him. Go ahead and walk here for a second. I want to talk about something. All right, there's sort of 2 or 3 things I think about with taking connection. So he looks, ask him right here at the halt, ask him to get a little bit rounded on the bit. So how would you do that? Would you flex him? Would you bend him? What would you do? Yeah, let's see if he'll just do it right here. Super, super, good. Okay, it's really interesting to watch this because I just want to see how opposed to this he was. And he's a little bit opposed to it. Okay, I'm actually going to step down and help you out here. Because I want to see. Let me see your take off my shirt and stuff. The thing that we think about with flexion is you have to have the outside of the connection. That's really what tells us to be round. And I was having you throw that away for a little bit because I needed to see how much he would give to the contact. But it's the outside of it that's going to help him understand where we want it to be. Right here. Turn this off while I'm down so if I scream, if I fall. You won't get me. Okay, let me get to that. I am looking really close. There's a wheel in there somewhere. Got it? Yep. Okay, I'm good. I learned that Katie's truck is much taller than mine.
And you're riding with those Western open finger hands.
Okay. So the first thing I want to do, here, I'm going to, because I'm going to talk to you, I'll just talk to you. Hi, buddy. Is I'm going to feel what he feels like, because this will tell me something about him. Good boy. And the other thing I can look at is I can look at how his muscling is, and I can kind of see that as he begins to relax, he's had a little, I can sort of see it right. Katie, what I look at over here is I look, I don't know if the light will show on this side. So when I ask him to get round, you know, because he's got a big old bulging under neck. And so obviously we know he spent some time the wrong way.
Right.
And he's got kind of a long skinny neck out top. Yeah, and then he's also got a little arch up there. So I think what somebody has done with him in his past is they've sort of flexed him in the wrong place. So when I ask him to flex, he gets kind of a knot right here that's the complexus muscle, but it has kind of a funny, it just has a funny look to it. Actually, now he's getting a little better. And so what I want to see is his jugular groove get soft, and I want to see his complexus muscle go all the way down towards his shoulder. And when I first asked him to arch, he stopped it here, and now he's beginning to show it softer into there. And this just tells me a little bit about how he was ridden in his past. Yeah, he just gets really kind of stuck right about here.
Yeah.
So they sort of had him break in the wrong place, and he's a tiny bit defensive.
Well, he was really had
thick.
nothing on top when he first got here.
Yeah. I mean,
And Lauren has done the majority of the riding
awesome.
on him. So
he has, yeah, super. Yeah, hunter jumper horses, when you first try and take them in contact, are just sort of horrified by the whole thing.
yeah.
Kind of
Like, say what?
Yeah. Anyway, so he has the potential. Sorry, another the light is kind of on the wrong side here. So I'm going to feel him from up here. So he feels like a horse that, just what I see when you ride him, that is trying but doesn't really know what you want. And he wants to be too low sometimes. So you're going to have a little bit of a trick of like how,
Finding the
yeah, where's the proper place? Because we need him to actually eventually bring his neck, and let him back up, it's totally fine. His neck up here, and then get it arched there. Because see how that neck has smoother muscle
right. Okay.
going into it? Good boy.
Yeah.
And that's actually what we want.
Okay.
So it's because
So that helps him come up from underneath.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard because literally I'm going to help him out here by lifting up his head. Come on, buddy. You almost have to get him up first. Come on, buddy. And hunters are taught to be in one place, and so he's a little bit horrified by us trying to move him
And
around.
on no contact.
Yeah, no
to
contact
boot.
and not to move. So they're a little defensive when you try and turn them into a dressage horse. But there we get the neck muscling smooth. So we had to lift him up first
And then
make him round. And I'd like him even a little higher. But see, now he's got, this is all soft down here, and he's got the correct muscling showing. So what I'm going to do to make him round is, see, when I go to make him round, he goes too low.
okay.
Honey, really? But that's where he was taught to be. And he's pretty heavy. There, good boy. Good boy. So I'm going to ask for a little flexion to the right. Good boy. And I don't care that his head is up, because right now I'm actually kind of happy about that. Maybe I'll flex him now to the left. And then my right, I'm switching back and forth between what's my inside and what's my outside. So this would be my inside. This is my outside. And as he starts to go down, I actually have to half, good boy. It's okay that he's up. When he comes back down, I think it's going to be better. Good boy. Yeah, that's about where we want him.
Okay.
So practice that just at a standstill, just playing with his flexion a little bit left and right. And whenever he gives to me, I kind of toss it back. So like, if you, loosen up for a second. Okay, now hold them again. You're him and I'm you.
Okay.
So if I'm resisting on this range, if I'm getting out, give me a little. I'm going to get back to you. So I'm pulling.
Okay.
Now give. Now I get back to you. So you're the horse and you're struggling. And you're like,
yeah.
And I'm like, give to me. And I'm like, okay, oh, good.
Okay.
And so then the contact
So
becomes sort of like this. So you have moments where the contact is just, like here we are, just kind of riding, and you're him, and I'm like, yeah, this is okay, maybe I'll take a little bit. I'm like, could I have that? I'm like, oh, thank you.
You
How
can
soft
give it
that
back.
was.
Okay.
But now it's like, now I'm going to pick it up again, and I'm going to say, could I have that? And now I want you to resist, because you're like, no. I'm like, okay, honey, maybe I do that for a second and see if you get softer. Maybe you did, but now you're going to resist again, because you're like really tense, and I'm like, okay, now I'm pulling, I'm saying, okay, now get back to me.
Okay.
Because what you don't want to get into is that moment where, okay, you're him pulling, and I'm pulling, and then you're pulling, and then he gives, and then now give a little bit, but then I'm like pulling, and then and then I'm pulling, and then poor guy's like, oh. So you have to make sure you release. So it's sometimes if he was a baby horse, I would say, oh, don't do that. I would say, give me this rein. Oh, good, you gave it to me. He didn't get round, but he followed me.
Right.
Would you follow me this way? Well, he did, and so I gave it to him, but he didn't get anywhere near round. So with that, what's going to happen there is it's going to be the opposite rein. It's going to help me get him stiff right there, and my legs. But so, and then when he gives,
Then
give
give.
him that rein.
Okay.
And it's that much of a give. And if he goes like this, if I say I want you to flex in, and I let go, and he goes whoop, I'm like, okay, fine, that was your choice. Come back. Let's repeat it. So he gets his reward even if he makes the wrong, the wrong choice.
When you give, obviously when he releases his tension and you give back, and then you slowly bring back your connection, and then if it's pulling again, and then
So we're pretending he's an untrained baby horse.
okay.
Or what he is, which is a
Retraining.
retrain. We're riding along and we say, there's like levels of what you ask. You say, and they may all be in the same ride. So I'm riding a horse and I say, could I have the right rein? And that means, would you bend and follow that rein? And if I say that and they give, I'm like, okay, you gave it to me. I might say with a really tense horse, could I touch that rein? Would you take a little half halt? Because a half halt's more of a touch, release. Could I touch that rein? I touched it, great, I give it back to you.
Okay.
You might say, could I hold that rein? Or could I put your head down with that rein? So you kind of have different levels you do with the connection.
Okay.
They always get a release. Now the difference is, when I ride a Grand Prix horse, it's like, could I touch it and give it back? Maybe you never see it, maybe the release is tiny. Or it might be like, here's the entire rein, and test and see if he's in self-carriage, or both reins.
But so it's really a difference of how we give, because even when the horses are trained, whether it's just a little, like that, or a big release, we always are releasing.
Okay.
We want them to be soft and in self-carriage, and if we're holding, they can't give to us because we're holding. So we always have to be offering forward. We always have to be forward-thinking hand, even if we're pulling. And the connection, and I am big on half halting and squeezing and sponging and all that. I'm also big on, I wanted that rein. You said no? Well, I want that rein. Okay, now you said yes. Good, I give it back to you.
Okay.
So I'm not very patient. But it's also that, I have an expectation that my horses are trained, and the horses that I am training, it's like, here's the request. Oh, you didn't listen? Here's the request. Okay, now you listen. Good.
Okay.
So it's like you whisper, and then you tell them. And then so you can always go back to whispering.
Okay.
Because you want the connection and the soft, the kick, the ride, the whatever it is, always to be about whispering to them. But if you whisper and whisper and whisper and whisper and whisper, they don't listen. Well, then you better get them.
Okay.
My sister's much more patient than I am. I'm like, you're not listening, Frank. No, but it's like, it's a whisper and then it's a tell.
Okay.
And then it's a reward. And then you go back, it's a whisper. Well, if you don't listen to the whisper, then it's a tell. And then it's a reward. So pick him up right now and try and make him, I'm going to stand on this side just so I can see better with the light. Yeah. And he gave. Good, and give. And so so now he's rounded on the bit. Is he quite as nice as I had him when I lifted him up? He's not. But, hey, we're happy that he's rounded on the bit. Good. So now flex him left. And, yeah, now flex him. Good. And now straighten his neck out and just let him go a little bit. And now flex him right. Yeah, now give it back to him. Good boy. Now flex him left. Yeah, give it back to him. It was a little stiffer to go to the left, wasn't it? So it was okay to just kind of add a little more pressure. Now throw both reins at him because he's standing there perfectly rounded on the bit, which may be a little more hunter-like, I don't know, but he was a good boy. When I'm standing here talking, except for when I have you working, he should be on the buckle if he's behaving, because it's his, he can look around, up, down, sideways, as long as he doesn't touch you. Now he's kind of touching you there, but I'll accept it. But you know the ones that yank on the reins or,
Okay.
So my horses, when I'm at rest, can do whatever they want, as long as it's on the amount of rein I've given them.
Okay.
And because it's kind of hard to stand there in a frame all the time, I try
Right.
and remember to put them on the buckle. And especially somebody that's not used to it. So pick him back up both reins, you just kind of get them both even, and then you decide, I'm going to flex you one way or the other. Yeah, and give to him. And now flex him the other way. Yeah, and give to him. Now he's sort of going, I can do this and keep my nose out. So let's, now he's too low. So both reins a little bit, pick him up, literally, yeah, good. And pick him up again a little bit higher. Use a little heel, yeah. And now try and make him round up there and don't let him go too much lower. So when I say not too much lower, I mean from here. Okay. I want the nose in, but I don't want him, I'm gonna make it hard here. I don't want him here lower.
Okay.
Once you picked his neck up, I want him round with his neck here, this distance from you, not this distance from you. Does that make sense? So now, and then you can make him round. A little flex one way. And I use a little bit of foot. The same side I'm flexing, I use that same foot. Yeah. Good. Good.
It's still
It's
low.
Yeah. Good boy. And now give him the reins and reward him. And again, every time he a little bit, and you're going to have trouble with this for a while, because you're going to be like, did she want him higher or lower? What did she want? I want you to reward him for trying, and I want you to think about that eventually we need his head and neck up more, because it'll actually be easier for him to be correct.
Okay.
So there are going to be times when he's going to offer and you're going to give, and he's going to say, well, great, give means go down. And you're going to say, no, sweetie, not right now.
Give just means don't lean and don't push.
Right, exactly. Give means, here's your reward, but no, stay up here. Here's your reward. So at first you give rewards for like everything he does right, and then later you're like, okay, I'm getting a little more picky. I still have to give to you, but I'm going to correct more quickly.
Okay.
And say, I don't like the way that was going. I'm going to take it back. Oh, I don't. But the problem is if you don't give, then you've made it your job to hold his head up in whatever frame you finally put him in.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, I got him. And then that's the rest of your life. I've got him. And then that's not a good place to be. So if you don't give and check the self-carriage and you don't reward,
Can you call Belisario and see if he'll bring them in?
then you're stuck. holding his head in a frame.
Okay.
And you do see dressage riders. I've had people say, I don't like dressage, it's too hard on my hands or, my arms.
Right.
Because
It's
they're like, they ride them like this. It's like, no, the art is, it's like a little half hold and give, a little half hold and give. And you can make him
Just phone him
really supple and soft.
and
Okay.
tell him
He
that
doesn't
I'm
know how
in
yet.
here.
You can make him that way. So pick him up on a circle.